I've been talking about what makes a muscle grow, and I'm doing it in stages, and this will be stage four. These can be, I'm going to try to make it so you can watch these independently, but this is number four if you're keeping score and following along sequentially. So, just as a reminder, what we started with was the idea of what makes a muscle grow is we have to stimulate it. That's your workout. We don't want to break it or tear it down, really. We just want to stress it. We want to irritate it. We want to shake it up a little bit so that it has a reason to change. And that's the first thing you have to do. You have to stimulate it, but you have to stimulate it a certain way if you want muscle size and strength. And that is with longitudinal tension. And that's the second thing we covered. We talked about how the kind of stress that's necessary to make a muscle want to grow. It's basically weights or tension, heavy stuff. So less oh, more away from the high reps and more towards lower reps, higher weight, as opposed to high reps, lower weight. If high reps made muscles big and strong, then marathon runners would have gigantic legs because they do a lot of reps with their legs. So it's we have to stress the muscle. We have to stress it a certain way. Tension. And then I talked about what muscle's made of, and that's food. You have to feed the muscle. You have to make the muscle out of stuff you put in your mouth. You take matter, you put it in your mouth, and if you've done the stimulus the right way, then that muscle is encouraged to take some of that food and keep it and to build muscle tissue with it. So we're going to continue on what makes a muscle grow and how a muscle grows. And I want to introduce now the idea of rest. And that is not synonymous with sleep. So everybody knows you need sleep, and that'll be something that we do differently from this. And so let's just say, yeah, you have to get lots of good sleep. But I want to talk about rest, and I want it to be different in your mind than just sleeping. Yeah, you're resting while you're sleeping. But what I'm talking about when I talk about rest is how long between workouts? How long are you resting between those stimulus bouts, those bouts of stressing the muscle? So you can't just stress the muscle once and irritate it and then have it grow and grow and grow and grow and grow from that one stimulus. It only grows so much. And then you have to stimulate it again if you want it to continue to grow. Well, how far apart should those be? You can't probably do some things every single day. And you don't want to do things once a month. So how long do we rest? How long are we outside of the gym? You spend most of your time outside of the gym. And during that time, after the stimulus, during the rest until the next stimulus, the rest period, the muscles are doing three things. They're repairing from any sort of roughing up that you gave them. I don't mean real damage, but reconstituting and making sure if there was any micro tears, which does happen. And I don't want to confuse you with that being real damage. That's microscopic damage. But that has to be repaired. That has to be taken care of. So one of the things that the muscle has to do in between, during the rest period, between the bouts of exercise, is it has to repair any sort of stuff that's that's not working properly. Then it has to recover. It has to get ready to work out again. It has to have energy to do that because when you leave the gym, your muscles are tired. You're tired. Things are depleted. And glycogen is one of those things. But you have to recover your ability to train again. You can't leave the gym for an hour and come back and do the same workout at the same pace. You won't be able to because you haven't recovered enough of the stuff that recovery is dependent on. And the third thing that you have to do after you've repaired and recovered, and those things happen kind of simultaneously, is you have to grow. The whole point of doing this is not to have a stimulus and get a little weaker in the moment and then recover and repair and come right back to where you were. You want to be a little above that. We call that super compensation. You compensate for the effort that you put in and the work and the exhaustion of the muscle. It compensates, it recovers, it repairs, and it bounces back a little higher. It gets a little extra rebound. And that's what we really, really want. We want that little bit above our level when we had our workout. We want a little bit of compensation above and beyond just repairing and recovering and doing it all over again. So that takes time. Those three things take time. And food has to be in there, and rest has to be in there. Rest in duration of time, and also rest in not using the muscles. You can have a great leg workout and a great diet, and you can wait enough days before you have another great leg workout. But if you used your legs excessively during that time, for example, if you're a mailman or a policeman who walks a beat every day, miles on your feet, or you have a job that puts you on your feet, you're still using those muscles. They're not really resting. They're not really given the chance to optimally do the recovery, repair, and compensation and growth, because they're still doing something. There's an argument to be said to do absolutely nothing would be best, but that doesn't really get the blood flow there as much. So a little bit of active recovery, doing a little bit of leg work, leg stuff, moving around generally, going up and down stairs and what have you, is good for the legs during recovery. It's not so good to just lay in bed until your next leg workout, as if you could do that anyways. I guess some people could fashion their lives to do that, but that would be the exception, and it won't be any of us. So you have to stimulate a muscle, feed a muscle, and you have to rest the muscle. Rest means how long between workouts, and we'll talk about that in conclusion. But it also means that during that time, you're not excessively using those muscles that you just stimulated to grow. You're letting them spend their energy not doing more stuff for you, moving you around and lifting stuff, loading boxes on a truck, or any kind of hard physical labor. That makes it tougher to rest. And so that will require a longer time before you can stimulate again. It will slow that curve back up to normal where you started, and then above. That's going to not bounce back normally. It's going to be drug out because you're still using the muscle. It's not really at rest. So if you got a physical labor job, you do a lot of work for a living that we used to call work, not sitting at a chair or at a computer or some light activity, hard, heavy activity. You have to consider how long between stimuluses you're going to need. And that is correlated to and in direct relation to how hard your work is, how much work you do. If you're on your feet an hour or two a day, it might be okay. If you're on your feet all day, every day, maybe even going up and down stairs, you're going to have to consider giving more rest in between those stimulus bouts. So I'm going to give a very accurate but unsatisfying answer to the question, how long should we wait between our workouts? We have a workout, we do it perfectly right, we feed it perfectly right. When's the time? How many days before I should work that muscle again? And the unsatisfying answer that I'm going to give you that is dead accurate, nonetheless, is that it is directly correlated to how hard your workout is and how demanding and intense your workout is, and how much that workout weighs. You could do 5 sets of 5 on some exercise, and in the beginning you could recover pretty quickly from that because you're not that strong yet. You're just starting out. So the demand for recovery isn't that great because you didn't move that much weight during the workout. You did 5 sets of 5, 25 reps with the squat. And you can recover from that and do another squat workout sooner than years later in your career, doing the same 5 sets of 5, but now with a couple 100 pounds more on your back. Now you're doing the same workout, but you can't you can't do those same workouts at the same rest interval because it's going to take longer to recover from 500-pound squats than 300-pound squats for the exact same workout prescription. 5 sets of 5, 25 reps. But in one case, 300 pounds, in the other case, 500 pounds, it just is harder and takes longer. And you must rest longer to recover from that and repair and supercompensate and grow. So I know it's unsatisfying to say it depends. I hate when people say that. Of course it depends. But what I'm saying, it's a direct correlation to how hard you are working, how much work you're doing, how intense that work is, how exhausting that workout is, and something that people don't think about, how heavy that workout is. To you, it's relatively the same. It's a relative same workout. You're doing the best you can with 5 sets of 5 when you begin and pretty far down the road. You're doing the best you can in each situation. You can only do 300 pounds now, but later on you'll be able to do 500 pounds. And that's the best you can do. And 300 pounds won't be enough anymore. So wherever you're at in your journey of gaining strength and muscle, and how hard you work out determines how much rest, not sleep, rest you need. Interestingly enough, sleep doesn't seem to be as affected as rest. by the intensity of your workout. You can do 5 sets of 5 at 300 at the beginning and sleep the same amount as when you do 5 sets of 5 at 500. The demand for sleep doesn't go up as in proportion like the demand for rest in between your sets, your workout times. Days that you need to recover, repair, and grow, supercompensate. How long that takes. When I was at my strongest, for example, I did bench press every 10 days. For a lot of my career, for the beginning of my career, I was able to do it every 5 days. For the bulk of my career, I did it every week, because that's a nice rhythm to get into. But when I was at my strongest and using the most weights in my workouts, it demanded that I get more rest. Not more sleep, more rest, more time between exercise bouts. And I did 3 bench workouts a month. 1 every 10 days. Why did I wait so long? Because it took that long to recover from that heavy of a load. Relatively, I was working out just as hard, doing my very best, pushing myself to the limit when I was benching 500 pounds as when I was doing 6 or 7 or more. But the demand goes up as the intensity goes up, as the weight goes up. So there you have it. I'm sorry I can't tell you exactly how many days you need between bicep workouts or leg workouts, but that is in direct relation to how hard and intense and heavy, remember heavy, your workouts are. And I don't know where you are, but you do. And a good question to ask yourself it's an excellent question to ask yourself, am I making satisfactory progress? If you're not making progress, then something should change. I would offer immediately change and give yourself one more day than whatever you are giving yourself now of rest, of time out of the gym, of time away from the gym. And what kind of time? What kind of rest? Inactive, low activity. A little bit of active rest, but at a low activity. Don't use those muscles a lot. Just being out of the gym doesn't mean you're not using the muscles. Give yourself one more day of rest. Put another day between leg workouts. See what happens. See what happens to your progress. It may become satisfactory again. You have to decide what satisfactory is for you. But the reason we do this is to make progress each and every month of each and every year. And that means we have to make progress each and every week. Because if you go 4 weeks in a row, just because a month has gone by doesn't mean you make progress. No progress on week 1, plus no progress on week 2, plus no progress on week 3, plus no progress on week 4 means no progress in a month. Just because a month goes by doesn't mean you've made any progress. You should make progress every month, which is another way of me saying you should make progress every week, because months are made out of weeks. So that's the question to ask yourself. One of the first things to do, I would advise you, if you're not making what you consider is satisfactory progress, is get another day of rest. Because rest is the 4th thing that makes a muscle grow. And we'll continue this discussion with number 5 next. I hope that wasn't too verbose or long, but there's a lot of ideas in there. And it took me that long to get through them. So there you have it. Thank you for listening, and I hope you come back for the 5th one.